this evening to the regular scheduled Planning Commission on April 27th, 2021. Roll call, please, or call to order. And then roll call, please.
Chairman Cox.
Here.
Vice Chairman Ferris.
Here.
Commissioner Heyman.
Here.
Commissioner Mondragon. Commissioner Jenkins.
Here.
5 present. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Bernie, would you mind leading us in a Pledge of Allegiance? All rise, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Do I have an approval of the agenda?
If I may, I have a correction to the agenda. I have misspelled Commissioner Jenkins' last name, so I would correct that.
Okay. Any other changes?
None by me.
Okay. Do I have an approval of the agenda?
I move to approve the agenda.
Second.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Chairman Cox.
Aye.
Vice Chairman Ferris.
Aye.
Commissioner Heyman.
Aye.
Commissioner Mondragon. Commissioner Jenkins.
Aye.
5 ayes. Motion carries.
Thank you. Do I have an approval of the minutes? We have the minutes from February 23rd, 2021. We're going to do these individually because I was not here on 3/23. So do I have an approval of the agenda of 2023 of 01 or 2/21, excuse me?
So move.
Thank you. Do I have an approval of the minutes of 3/23/21?
I move. I'll second.
Okay. Chairman Cox.
Aye.
Vice Chairman Ferris.
Aye.
Commissioner Heyman.
Aye.
Commissioner Mondragon. And Commissioner Jenkins.
Aye.
5 ayes. Motion carries.
Thank you. We'd like to move into the next section that we have, which is a public comment. Persons wishing to address the Commission on matters that are within the Commission's jurisdiction and do not already appear on the agenda may do so at this time. Pursuant to the Brown Act, the Planning Commission may not take action on an item that does not appear on this agenda. Speakers are limited to 5 minutes. The public comment section of the agenda is limited to a total of 1 hour. Each speaker is asked to provide his or her name. Do we have anybody that's wishing to speak to the Commission? Seeing none from the public, we will close the public comment section at 6:03. Move on to the public hearing. I'd like to open the public hearing. It is a site plan review application for a new garage building at SCE Ridgecrest Service Center, 510 South, China Lake Boulevard, APN 080-02067. Staff report.
Okay, good evening. So this is the SCE Service Center. The total site is 5.15 acres, and it is zoned service commercial. Previously, in January of 2017, this site had a site plan review, and at that time, it was for the new administration building, which you can see. This is the newest aerial view, so you can see the new building. At that time, they did leave a garage, and so this site plan is to remove the existing garage and add parking and add a new garage. At the time of the first site plan review, they did all of the off-site improvements that would typically be required on this project. So that included the block wall and the landscaping easement that's along China Lake Boulevard, and it also included some streetlights and sidewalks. So this is the site plan that they're proposing, and it removes the current garage building and it adds a new 11,490 square feet garage building and some additional parking. This site is not open to the public. It is for the private usage of SCE. The existing block wall along China Lake Boulevard mitigates the noise that would come from the site. There are existing driveways that are used for access along Upjohn. And the CEQA for this is a categorical exemption 15302, replacement and reconstruction of existing structures and facilities. This is some images of this building, the elevations, and then some of the materials that they're using. This does match the current administration building that's on the site. This is the floor plan for the structures. So the building would include a wash bay, garage area. It has employee break rooms, lockers, and showers. So there is a correction to the resolution that was sent in the agenda packet to section 1, and that planning commissioners, you all have it. The update is just the project description. It was incorrect. And then we do have the city engineer, Lauren Culp, and we do have the applicant on the phone, so if commissioners have any questions, they would be available to address those, and staff recommends approval.
Thank you. Commissioners? Any questions for the applicant or for the city engineer or for staff?
So I do have one question. For the helipad, will the construction limit the use of the helipad on site?
Hello, Planning Commission members, City of Ridgecrest staff, and any other distinguished members of the community. This is Scott Holland with Elements Architecture. We are representing SCE on this project as the applicant. The current helipad is located on the east end of the site, a little closer to the multifamily residential, so this project will not affect the operation of the helipad in any way. We're kind of at the opposite end of the property.
And it's already existing?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, correct.
Other questions?
No other questions.
Okay. You'll find turning it on and off will probably be a big lag, but because they're directional, you can just pull them away. Other commissioners have any questions? So I have one question for the architect as well as for Lauren. I see in the new construction we have a break room, bathroom, we have wash bay. Is there existing plumbing in the destruction of the building that you're going to take out?
Yes, this is Scott Holland with Elements Architecture. Correct. The existing garage building that we're proposing to demolish has a very small single accommodation restroom, so that'll be demolished. With all the new construction and including the admin building that Heather referenced in her staff report, all new site utilities have been brought onto the property in the last 7-8 years off of Upjohn, and we do have proposed point of connections that were already designed with this new garage building in mind. So all of our new utilities will be connected on site.
Thank you, Mr. Holland. One other question for
You're
you.
welcome.
Have you read the resolution?
Yes, sir, we have. We've also shared that with all of the SCE project stakeholders, and we take no exception to the resolution as written.
Thank you. That's important to me. Lauren, are you
You're
on
welcome.
the phone? Our city engineer, Lauren. Well,
Mr. Chairman, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now, Lauren. Go ahead.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'm available to you.
Okay, so the question I asked Mr. Holland is if he was familiar with the requirements of the resolution. They take no exception to this. Do you have anything to add to this that we need to be aware of?
The only thing that is the strong condition is number 11. The plumbing plans must be reviewed by the engineering department. We're mandated by the State Water Resources Control Board to have a wastewater management plan. And from that wastewater management plan, we're required to review commercial and commercial and industrial projects to determine what kind of waste loads they may have and determine what sort of grease traps, sample box, sand oil separators may be necessary to protect our wastewater system. So really the strong point in this set of resolutions for Public Works is we must review the plumbing plans when they're available. And at that time, then the appropriate facilities will be identified to protect the city's wastewater system.
Right, okay. Mr. Holland had indicated that they're not taking exception to any of the conditions of the resolution. So I would like to turn the time over to the public for any public comment at this time. Do we have any callers? Hearing none and seeing none, then I would move that we approve this resolution. Do I have a second?
Chairman Cox,
Aye.
Vice Chairman Ferris,
Aye.
Commissioner Hayman, Commissioner Mondragon, Commissioner Jenkins.
Aye.
5 ayes, motion carries.
Thank you. And at this time, at 6:12, I'd like to close the public hearing. Moving on, we have discussion and other items, carports, discussion by code enforcement on carports.
Hello, I'm Kyle Seep. I do have a follow-up from our last meeting about 436 North Alvord. That one has been sold and it is now clear of violations, although the red tag will remain on it until it's completely remodeled. And on to the carports. I've started my investigations with the carports as if they're just like any other RMC violation that I've been going through. Same situation with the 30-day letters and just trying to make sure that everybody is aware of what needs to be happening. And I've divided the city into 4 different sections because there are a lot of carports, so trying to get to all of them. But I was also thinking of maybe possibly doing like a post with our city website's social media page by letting everybody else be aware of them before I actually have to do any violation letters or anything like that to keep them ready for what's going to happen.
May I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
Are you paying attention to everything or just the front carports at this point?
So right now, because there are so many, I'm mostly concerned with the ones that are impeding traffic that are right up against the sidewalk where people are having trouble backing out, trying to make sure that's safe, and then working on the other potential problems with the other carports.
Okay. I know that back when we originally heard it, the direction from infrastructure and some of the council was try not to bite the whole apple and look at the front one because it's easy. We have 10-foot setback for public utility, and then we have another 20-foot setback for structures, for permanent structures. So anyway, and I know that you're aware of that, but that was originally the direction both from infrastructure and from the council members that we had talked to. So we as a commission would appreciate, feedback on what's happening. And the other question I have is, I've seen a couple of other spring up sales, people that are selling them. Have we contacted everybody again and remind them that if they sell a carport, they have to have a building permit?
Yes, so I'm working on sending even the retailers letters about, educating on them, on educating their buyers on what needs to happen, that they need to acquire a permit and go everything the right way with the city.
Okay, because that would stop a lot of the problems, because if they come for a permit and it's not permitted, then that would make your job a little easier.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else?
For me, that is it.
Commissioners, any questions for him? Okay, we all understand the carport issue? Okay. So we're not necessarily trying to make it hard on everybody, but we do want to, there is in some cases a real big public safety thing when neighbors are backing out. If they have, you look at fences that are terraced down. The idea is so that you can see oncoming traffic. And these will absolutely obstruct your view unless you're in the street. So it is a public safety issue, and I hope the public will appreciate that more than fight you on it.
Me too.
So thank you so much.
Thank you.
I guess that's it from us.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner comments? Committee reports?
I found out today it's already been put in place. But to make all the new building, commercial building have space for 3 commercial bins, regular trash, recycle, and green waste. It seems like maybe not everybody is informed of that, and waste management and trash picking service are having trouble accessing some of these bins. In some cases, they have to pull them out into the alley, and either the waste management driver has to do it or the restaurant employees have to do it. So I just want to see if we can make the public aware and potential, new buildings coming into the city that is a requirement. And, that might mean losing a little bit of parking space. So, I don't know how we would move forward on educating. I talked to Heather, and she has been in communication with waste management and submitting plans that incorporate that. So that's it. Yeah.
Well, I think that's terrific, making it, helping us be aware of it as well. So thank you.
Yep.
Any other committee reports? Let's start at one end. You want to give us infrastructure and...
Yep. So the key things coming from infrastructure are staff is starting to develop a plan to look at the ADA ramps for sidewalks and how we can get into compliance with that. They're looking to move forward with improving street lighting on downs. The physical wiring was already run, and working with SCE to get that installed. And the other big one is looking at the inverted speed bumps, the drainage diversion, and how some of those may be improved, and trying to create a plan for that. So those are the three big ones from infrastructure.
Thank you. Bill?
So I was present for the Economic Development Committee meeting, but I think Bernie's going to report on that.
Sure. So we have discussed with a company coming into town that's putting in, correct me on this, Bill, is it fiber optic?
Correct.
Fiber optic in part of the city, and I think they're breaking ground soon. So eventually, I think they want to do the whole city, but they're starting with a good portion, and this is going to be good for not only homeowners but businesses. Having the high-speed internet access to work from home and school. So that's what we have going on there.
Is this the extension to the 395 project? Is that what they're tying into?
They'll tie into that ultimately, but then it's going to be citywide. One of the reasons it may affect planning, there's not going to be one set way that this is going to be delivered. So some will be on existing power poles, some will be maybe micro-trenched, and then some will have to be tunneled in. So there's going to be a different approach for different neighborhoods. So it could potentially come back to planning for some sort of easements or any sort of deviation from the city code, I would guess.
Well, I know when we built the cable system, it was strictly an encroachment permit. But where we cut the road back in the 80s, it would be really hard for them to do the same thing unless they're boring.
Well, and that was the conversation that they'll be working with Travis and working out a strategy and how to best cover the whole city without having to tear up every section of road, especially road that's just been repaved. So,
Yeah, well, that'd have to be bored. We had to do that too. So that's terrific that we have somebody that's willing to give us an alternative sources as well. So
I'd also like to point out this company's done it, I think, for a few cities, Tehachapi being one of them. So they know what they're doing, and it sounds like they're going to work with Travis to get everything, any issues that come up.
So did they give you what they think is going to be the end user pricing at all? Any information?
No.
Okay. And is any of the plan transmit microwave?
that was part of the conversation was Wi-Fi and 5G in the future, but this was just hard line for right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Vanessa?
For Parks and Rec, we went over the park that's in between Penny Pool and the Senior Center for ideas of what to put in there, like a basketball court, shaded area for the seniors, pickleball.
Splash Park.
Right, we already have one. So we just went over that, and then the skate park, just to update on that, how everything's going, and hasn't been any problems there lately with kids. So
Okay.
that was it.
Thank you. Any other commissioner comments? Heather, before we move on, and it could actually go to staff comments, why don't you tell us a little bit about what's going on in the valley over by Walmart and just north of it and so on and so forth?
Well, let's do future agenda items first, and then I'm going to present you guys some of the projects.
Okay. Future agenda items.
So for the future agenda, more than likely next month, we have a variance for a garage that we'll be bringing before you. At the meeting, we're also going to go over the water efficient landscape ordinance. We're just going to review it as required. And then when we're doing that, and so you'll see in front of you tonight, you have the general plan open space element. So in particular, this deals with parks. And this will be the first element that I want to have you guys look at. There's some very obvious updates that need to be done. Helmers Park no longer exists. But there's also some other things that I think that we have found. Chairman will agree with me here. Sumps and pocket parks. If you look in there, there's no strict requirements for what that even means. It's a definite shall, so we're supposed to require it, but there's nothing that really elaborates what that is. There are no development standards at all. So, and there's several other things, but I just wanted to give it to you tonight so you'd have some time to look it over and be familiar, and then we'll go over it for probably a couple of meetings and get the public involved. But tonight, I just want to give you that. So, moving on. I wanted to give you some project updates because you all probably see fences and dirt moving. So Panda Express is going in front of the Walmart. That's on China Lake Boulevard. Here is the site plan that you guys saw. So that's underway right now. They do have workers already, and they actually expect to be done within 4 to 5 months.
That's moving. 4 to 5 months.
Yeah, 4 to 5 months. You're also probably seeing the fence in front of the Oasis project, which is also on China Lake Boulevard, adjacent to the Bowman Wash. So they are moving on phase 1, which includes, in this picture, you're going to see the 2 buildings in the front there. Building, I think it's 9 and 10. Number 9 is Starbucks, and number 10 is Chipotle, and then that entire parking lot, and then the cinema in the back. And so you can see they're working on grading with engineering right now, and moving forward on that project.
Heather, I would assume they're only doing the parking lot to the theater, not the parking behind or to the side of the theater.
Correct. It's kind of hard to see from this drawing, but the portions that are slightly shaded, it's not, it's kind of transparent. They're not doing that. So you'll see the building 11, and then on the other side of that drive, they're not doing that, or
Right.
in the rear.
But I'm thinking about the parking that it shows right behind the cinema and then on the south side of the
Correct.
cinema. I would think during construction that all get tore up, and so I
Right.
wouldn't think that we'd require that.
Right. That's not, I think the phase 1 is goes around the theater.
Anything else? Why don't you give us a report on Arby's?
Well, they're moving along, so hopefully they'll be done soon. They're diligently working, so that's good. I don't think they have any problems, so it looks good.
Nothing like being put on the spot, right? All right. Commissioners, any other questions or items that you would like staff to address or us to bring back?
I had a quick question about the SCE garage. Any preliminary start date on that project?
Any what?
Preliminary start date for that?
No, I didn't ask.
Knowing them soon. Anything else, commissioners?
Nothing to add.
Okay, then I will adjourn this meeting at 6:29.